Counter-Strike. For over 2 decades, this franchise wasn't just a game, it was the game. CSGO became a cultural phenomenon. Millions of players, record-breaking esports events, and a community that treated it like home. But then came September 2023, when Valve pulled the trigger and released Counter-Strike 2. What was supposed to be the future of the franchise, instead turned into one of the most controversial updates in gaming history. Today, we're talking about how CSGO was replaced, how CS2 stumbled, and why so many players believe the game is already dead on arrival. Let's start with the biggest mistake Valve made right out of the gate. They didn't launch CS2. They replaced CSGO with it. No option to keep playing the old game. No separate client. Overnight, the most beloved shooter on Steam was gone. All your hours, all your nostalgia, your favorite maps, gone. And to make matters worse, Valve carried over CSGO's reviews into CS2, so at first glance it looked like the community was happy. But in reality, almost 1 million negative reviews poured in, making CS2 Valve's worst-rated release ever on Steam. And when players finally booted it up, it didn't feel like Counter-Strike anymore. Popular modes like Danger Zone, War Games, and other casual playlists were simply gone. Classic maps were missing at launch. The game felt empty, like a stripped-down beta, not a full release. Even the gunplay, while improved in some areas, felt foreign to veterans who spent thousands of hours mastering CSGO's mechanics. For many fans, CS2 wasn't just buggy or unfinished, it felt soulless, like Valve had taken the heart out of the franchise. Then came the technical issues. Even people with top-tier gaming PCs were complaining about stutters, input lag, and random frame drops. Esports pros noticed it too. RopZ, one of the best riflers in the world, said CS2 only runs properly on AMD's latest CPUs, while everyone else is left with frame rates dropping below 200 during intense fights. Now imagine being a competitive player relying on milliseconds, only to have your FPS tank because of poor optimization. For a game built on precision, this was unacceptable. But none of that compares to the elephant in the room: cheating. CS has always battled hackers, but CS2's launch made things worse. VSC, Valve's anti-cheat system, feels weaker than ever. Within weeks, matchmaking was flooded with wall hacks and aimbots. Entire Reddit threads and Steam discussions are filled with people saying they can't play a single game without running into a cheater. Some claim that 80% of players in ranked are hacking. Whether that number is exaggerated or not, the perception alone has killed the trust in matchmaking. And when the community starts moving to third-party platforms like Faceit just to enjoy a fair game, you know something's deeply wrong. So what does the community think? Well, just listen to the reviews. On Metacritic, one player wrote, "CS2 is shovelware. It's unplayable. I get shot even when I'm already behind cover." Another said, "The game is a mess. Matchmaking is broken. Cheaters everywhere. Valve killed the golden goose." And these aren't isolated rants. This is the overwhelming majority. CS2's reputation is now defined not by hype or excitement, but by disappointment and anger. At the end of the day, CS2 wasn't just an update. It was supposed to be the future of Counter-Strike. Instead, it became a cautionary tale of how not to handle a legendary franchise. Valve forced players into a broken, unfinished product, ignored community trust, and underestimated how much people loved CSGO. The result? One of the worst-rated games on Steam, a fractured player base, and a franchise that feels more vulnerable than ever. Can CS2 recover? Maybe. Valve has the resources and the community is still massive. But for now, Counter-Strike's downfall is a reminder. If you take your loyal fans for granted, even the biggest game in the world can crumble.